So last time we talked about what an input and output is for a computer. Today we're talking about what is an algorithm. An algorithm is a list of steps that tells you what to do. So an algorithm could be a recipe or sheet music or anything that says do this to get this result. Algorithms are the first step in planning a computer program. The computer reads your algorithm and interprets what to do with the instructions. If your algorithm is insufficient, the output of the algorithm will not be what you expect it to be. Algorithms are really important to get right in order to get the results that you want. Today we're going to do an activity where we show what is a good algorithm and what is a bad algorithm. Now I'm going to ask Elisa to make me a sandwich using verbal instructions only. Let's see how this goes. Take out 2 slices of bread.
Is this right?
I think we should have done the better one first.
Oh.
Place both breads on the plate. Open up the jam and put it on one side of the bread. Open up the peanut butter and put it on the other side of the bread. Put both pieces of bread together.
Oh. Okay.
Cut sandwich in half. Perfect. So how did that go? It doesn't look like a sandwich that I would personally eat. It might be good for maybe an ogre, but not for a human being like myself. So the result of this sandwich is similar to what would happen if you just gave random instructions to the computer without specifying those instructions. So because I didn't give Elisa specific instructions for how to do every single step, the sandwich was made in a way that is not edible to anyone. Let's try this again, but being more specific this time. Let's try this again. Now I'm going to tell Elisa instructions on how to make a sandwich, but give them very, very specifically so that there's no way she can possibly mess up. Let's start by taking the tab off of the bread bag, untwisting the bag, and taking out 2 pieces of bread. Place both pieces of bread on the plate, side by side, whatever. Open up the jar of jam, placing the lid on the table. Pick up the knife and take a dollop of jam and spread it evenly onto one side of one piece of bread. Make sure to cover all areas of the bread up to the crust. If there's not enough jam, use the knife to grab more from the jam jar to cover the bread completely. Once the bread is covered, place it back down on the plate with the jam side up. Wipe off the excess jam from the knife onto the jam jar and put the lid back onto the jam jar so it is locked in place. Put the knife down onto the table and grab the peanut butter jar. Untwist the peanut butter jar until the lid is completely off and place it on the table. Take off the seal on the peanut butter jar very carefully and place it on the table. Use your butter knife to take a dollop of peanut butter and place it on the bread that does not currently have jam. Only place peanut butter on one side of the bread. Make sure the peanut butter is spread evenly to cover all parts of the top of the bread. If more peanut butter is needed, use the butter knife to get more peanut butter from the jar. Once the peanut butter is completely covering the top side of the bread, place the bread peanut butter side up back onto the plate. Put the butter knife down on the table and place the lid of the peanut butter back onto the peanut butter jar to lock it tightly. Make sure the bread's shapes are mirror images of each other. That is, the flat side of the bread should be touching the other flat side of the bread. Now carefully fold both pieces of bread so that the jam and the peanut butter are touching together. Place that flat down onto the plate. Now take your butter knife and cut diagonally from the upper left corner down to the lower right corner, all the way through both pieces of bread.
Not gonna lie, I haven't ever cut a sandwich diagonal.
PB&J is always diagonal.
Is it?
Yeah. You are done making your sandwich and it is now ready to eat. Enjoy. Wow, didn't that last sandwich look good? I know I would want to eat it. So what happened the first time versus the second time? Well, the first time I just told Elisa really vague instructions for how to make a sandwich, so she interpreted them however she wanted to. The second time I laid out the instructions very clearly, to the point where she couldn't really make her own decisions for what something meant. This is really similar to what a computer does. A computer will read your instructions and interpret them how it wants to. So if you don't make instructions clear enough, it's going to take the instructions that you wrote and turn it into how it feels about it. You really want to make your instructions very clear so that your input and instructions give your desired output every single time. I hope you enjoyed this lesson on algorithms, and I'll see you next time when we learn about variables.
I feel sad about my bag.
I know, you're so dumb. We should have done that.